could have been stopped doing this shit. Only reason I do this shit cause the real niggas asked me to. A fake nigga couldn't relate to me. Top gunners, check me out. Only us, check me out. Strap her with a kilo, check me out. Put her on the bus, check me out. Stand up nigga, check me out. Always 100, check me out. You can bring the work back, check me out. If you don't want it, check me out. See mama love me, that's my baby, but papa left me. Yeah, he left me. I put a bitch on timeout if she upset me. That's a fact. Fuck with me, you won't regret me. Still on the mind of every hoe trying to forget me. I get them things across the border. Your man on trial, but you won't go get him a lawyer. You poppin' bottles, you getting fly, but you don't send commissary to niggas that's inside. See, we don't coincide, we don't live by the same rules. And we done got hungry, these lanes became full. Real niggas in my corner, you know that I can't lose. And I can't go to jail for a body they can't prove. Got niggas in the fence, they never coming home. Can't never see they daughter, only talking through a phone. And you know we screaming free you forever. Treat your kids like they mine. Wait your turn, real nigga. You get rich in due time. I feel like Nino when he first opened the Carter. Check me out. I feel like Tony when him and Sosa became partners. Check me out. Bring me out crab legs and grilled shrimp for starters. Filet me young for my main meal. I'm a mobster. Ruger rap. Top gunners, check me out. Only us, check me out. Strap her with a kilo, check me out. Put her on the bus, check me out. Stand up nigga, check me out. Always 100, check me out. You can bring the work back, check me out. If you don't want it, check me out.
How is everybody doing today? Happy Monday. I hope all is well, man. And man, I got so much. I kind of got a little behind last week. Well, actually, the last 2 weeks, man. Because as I told you guys about my new workout regimen, man, tough, man, tough. And then I done took rice and bread out of my diet, so it's kind of difficult to feel full. And but health is wealth. Got to make sure this body is right. Get rid of all this, lose about 30 pounds. You feel me? And yeah, because my doctor talking some crazy stuff if I don't lose no weight, which is not really, telling me, oh, if you don't lose weight, I'm gonna have to put you on some medication for your cholesterol, for your blood, for some other stuff that's concerned with weight. He said, so you better drop that weight, which is I ain't gonna take it anyway. I don't take medication, you feel me? I take vitamins, that's it. But I digress, man. Let's get into it, man. I had a great weekend. I always have. I have a great day every day. When the time when you might have a monkey wrench doing some of your playing, you still gotta look at that as being a great day because and we know scripture tells us whenever we being tried, that gives us what did that rubbing on my leg? Oh damn, I forgot to do something else. But yeah, anytime we might have a little hiccup throughout the day or the week or whatever, we gotta be thankful for those times, you know what I'm saying? Because not only do those times make us so thankful when everything is going perfect, but those times strengthen us in areas where we may be uncomfortable and strengthening on our own. So, we can look at those things and say, you know what? I woke up this morning to go to work. Everything was going good. Kids, everything gone to school, everything going right. And I got a busted tire on my car. And I don't got no more excuses for work to be late. Or that's just one thing. I could just go down a myriad of things that may start your day off wrong, or throughout the day something may happen. Just thank God for it. Just be thankful that you are so blessed and so in much of a good position in life that when something like that happens, you like, damn, something bad can happen to me. I am human. These things can't happen on whatever it is, whether it's bad or good. And you just thank God that, man, I was so blessed. We can't thank God when we doing good and don't thank him when we doing bad. We just can't do that. That's not fair. We can't be happy and thankful to him when everything is going good, but when things are not going good, we decide to be, man, God, why you let this happen? We can't do that. We just can't. That's not fair to God. We got to thank him in our ups and downs. So when we down, or even like I say, not so much as down, but we going through something throughout our life that may not seem fair, may not, I would say, be convenient. We got to just be thankful, man. We got to be thankful. We got to thank him in the ups and the downs, and realize that if we wasn't so blessed, we wouldn't even know that that little simple situation was an issue. Because it's people that they have been living in issues. It's people in other countries. It's people in this country who all they know is hurt and pain. You know what I'm saying? So one glimmer of light would be a blessing to them. So you got to think about that one glimmer of downfall, or one glimmer of the devil, or one glimmer of not even the devil, just something just not going your way. You got to be thankful, because for you to notice that something is off is because everything loses on for you, and that's just a blessing. But yeah, man. So today I want to speak on I'm gonna speak on the Jaden Ivey situation. I'll speak on the Nick Cannon situation, get y'all a little education on that. You don't know what I mean by the Nick Cannon situation. He had a hard conversation with the new and improved Amber Rose, right? And they had a great conversation. Um, that I think a lot of black people should hear and do their own research, not listen to these talking heads. Also, I want to speak on the Jaden Ivey situation. I'm sure you guys are familiar with that. The player who said something quote unquote homophobic, and it made him get cut from the NBA, which is very ironic, because we live in a time now where a conservative man, black or white or blue, you can say anything about them that you want. But when it comes to a woman, when it comes to a liberal woman, or when it comes to LGBTQIAEIONRS community, you automatically get canceled. That's unbalanced scale. That's unfair. But again, we're gonna get into it. We're gonna dig deep into these issues today. Um, but once a week, usually I do it on Wednesday, but because I'm kind of off schedule, I'm gonna do it Monday because I got a lot to talk about this weekend on my lives. Um, was my Episode 7 of my real life prison story. For you guys who don't know, I was sentenced to 10 years in prison from the age of 17. I came home when I was 26, almost 27. 10 summers flat. And I speak about, when I do these real life prison stories, I speak about just some of the things that I experienced while I was in there. And ultimately, I started this series to bring light to being behind the wall, because I just don't believe, I mean, I could be wrong, but I just don't believe that a lot of these young men and women, even like I got to put women in there as well, they don't understand the consequences of their actions. And they don't understand that there's a place for them that they're not going to like. And yeah, okay, you might go. I think Lil Baby said in his song, I don't want to misquote it, but he said something along the lines of, you young, you get that life sentence, and after 10 years pass, you're going to be like, damn. I'm paraphrasing, but he said something along those lines. Um, you know, when you in there, man, and then again, these days, I don't know about past prison, like the 70s when it was really, really, really bad. But now it's more of a emotional, spiritual battle in there. Not so much physical. You can do a whole bid without no fighting or nothing. I mean, it's not that type of energy in there no more. And then again, I've been removed from that environment for 11 years, and this new thing called the YN. These new YN, these 2000 baby, they have no respect for their OG. See, we had respect for our OG. We had respect for the elders in the community, the OGs, the guys who had bump their head. We had respect for them back then. Now they don't even have respect for these new guys. They don't even have respect because they were raised by their mama. They have all of the woman gasoline in them, the impulsiveness of the woman, the overly emotion of the woman. And in a man, that's very dangerous because that's not supposed to be. We are supposed to be logical. We are supposed to be able to move with tact. We are supposed to be able to move and think before we move. We're not supposed to be like the woman. That's why the woman is the woman and we are the man. And we were put here to moderate them. But when these young men are being raised by their mothers, what happens is the the energy of her and how she imposes her will on the children. Because a lot of these women they're overworked. They working 16-hour day. They don't get a lot of rest. They just overwhelmed with life because they made bad decisions with the men that they chose to allow to inseminate them. And I'm not blaming them. I'm blaming the men more, but they got to take some of the blame as well because they know that they're going to be the ones who have to deal with this. Some of them just don't count the cost, right? And so they impose all of that on the children, the young boy, the young girl. This is why everywhere you see children, the black children, they're fighting. There's always chaos with them. This is why. You don't see that in no other community because these other communities are raised right. A lot of these families, I know a lot of white families coming up. That the family, the mother and father slept in separate rooms. They kept the family together because they knew how important it was for the benefit of the children. The children need a mother and a father, but especially their father. He's the most important figure. He's the God of this earth, little G. And whenever he's not around, the woman is gonna do two things. She's not that's not her position. Number one, she don't see around the corner. She's a two-dimensional thinker. She only sees what's in front of her. She don't see what's on the other. She don't see around the corner. In other words, she don't see. She's not a three-dimensional thinker. She don't see future. All she sees is now. So she don't see some of the things she's doing now can hurt the child in the future. So there's two things that the woman is going to do. Either she's going to overly love the child, spoil him and ruin him for the world, or she's going to neglect him, right? And he's going to seek that love from somewhere else, right? And most of the time, it's going to be in his neighborhood, which is going to be probably a low, quote unquote, hood. We know what comes with that. And so I just wanted to speak. I started this series about 2 or 3 years ago, but I brought it back because I want to, show the, and I'm gonna be playing clips. I'm gonna start playing clips. Now, not today, but I'm gonna start playing clips. When I speak about my real life prison stories, things that I've experienced, things that I was a part of, and just things like that. It's not a game in there, man. It's not a joke, man. Like I say, it's mental and spiritual, not physical. You ain't gotta really worry about none of that. But it's just you ain't got your mental cap on right, or you ain't got somebody to put you under your wing when you get up there and give you the game and let you know, okay, look, when the dude give you a 100 bun, he not just giving you a 100 bun because he your friend. And it is situations like that because I did a lot for a lot of people up there. And I never wanted nothing in return. But I'm just saying, for the most part, most of the time, when people do certain things for you in there, it's always has a price at the end of it. And it might not be your backside, your head, your mouth, or nothing like that there, but it's evil in there. And it's a very deep, deep, deep spiritual issue. Most people in there are morally bankrupt. They have no moral compass. It's just not a place where you want to spend no time at. Besides, as a man, who wants to be around men all the time? If you're a woman, who wants to be around women all the time? Who wants to be told as an adult to when you need to go to bed and when not? You know what I'm saying? It's just things that you go in there, like I say, just mental and spiritual abuse that can really ruin some people for life. Every single day in prison, every day, not some days, every day in prison, somebody loses it. Somebody loses it, and they have to go to the infirmary, which is the prison hospital. And the next time you see them, they blew up and they're a zombie. They walking around the compound. What's up, bro? What's up? And that's what they is, that medicine that they give them. I forgot. I think it was called Thurazine. I might be wrong. But I think it was Therazine. And it makes you get real fat. So you'll see a dude that was like this, now he like this, and he a zombie. Some dudes shake back, some dudes didn't. But I never forget, man, I had a partner, man, and he was a real dude, man, real solid dude. I don't know what happened. I really don't remember what happened. And I used to not look up to him, but he was an older guy he wasn't older than me, like a couple years older, but he had been locked up for a long, long time. And it was his second bid, so he had pretty much everything. He'd give me a lot of game and stuff. And one day I didn't see him, and next time I seen him, he was like that, and I didn't know what happened because he was just so smart. He was so on point. But I don't want to go too much now. I want to speak about this episode 7. Episode 7 is about how I lost my parole date. So let's get into that. So in prison, when you sentence, if you sentence, it depends on what kind of charge you got. If you got an aggravated charge like I had, you have to do 85% of that time, right? So if you got a 10-year sentence, 8.5 years, you come home, right? Excuse me. So for me, that 8.5-year mark was December 2014. I was going to be paroled and come home. And so, it was a situation, man, that happened where, let me start from the top. So, like, in prison, I'm sure y'all know people get drugs and everything they have pretty much on the street. And so they had something called K2. Some people call it K2. Some people call it Mojo. Some people call it Spice, whatever. Synthetic marijuana, right? I never messed with that. I never messed with that when it first came into the prison system. I rather mess with the real marijuana. What the problem with the real marijuana is, you get piss tests. You get random piss tests. You never know, and it's gonna always be late night. So they're gonna come wake you up. You're not gonna have this on your mind. You're not gonna be ready, and bam, you're gonna piss, and so that's how that goes. So but that's what I liked because I was in jail and I'm reading the magazine, I'm reading magazines, I'm reading the newspaper, and I'm seeing how this stuff is messing people up and making them have seizures and strokes and all that, dying. So I'm like, man, I never smoked that. But it had made its way into the prison system at that point. I think it made itself in the prison system around 2011, 2012. But like I say, this 2014. So I've been in the prison system with it at this point for years, never smoked it, never messed with it, because like I said, I wasn't trying to die in prison with no damn mojo. Now I never seen nobody die from it. But you would see dudes flip out. You know what I'm saying? You would see dudes flip out, and then you gotta call the people, and the people come get them. And if you get caught up for flipping out on mojo, you automatically go into the cell block. You know what I'm saying? And you're gonna get the dome that you on shook down. So it's just a whole mess, right? But anyway, so I lay up there, man, and I smoke my little weed, you feel me? But again, the dangerous part about weed is you never know when they gonna wake you up at night and piss test you. If you got a bad piss test, you're going to the cell block for 90 days at minimum. That's at minimum. And so every night, if you smoke marijuana, what you got to do is you got to drink kind of see, I ain't got nothing in here right now, but it's kind of like something like this, but it's real big. I know y'all probably seen them. They like these plastic containers, and I think fruit come in them and stuff like that there. But it's like it's like a little bit bigger than this and about the same height. And you gotta drink one of them full to the top of faucet water before you go to sleep if you smoking weed. And they kind of get boring, bro. I mean not boring, but that kind of get, you know what I'm saying? Because if you drink that, when you drink faucet water, I don't know if people know this, but if you drink faucet water, it goes right directly in. It's like within about 10 minutes, you're gonna be pissing like you can't. You're gonna be pissing till you can't sleep. And the reason that you have to do that before you go to sleep if you're smoking weed is because when you have a piss test and you do that before you go to sleep, if they wake you up, all you're gonna be pissing out is water, right? So it beats the marijuana test. So you got to do that. And then not only that, as the marijuana, as the mojo was coming in the prison system, the marijuana was slowly but slowly leaving, because it still had a few guys like me who like, man, we gonna smoke the regular stuff. We not messing with that other stuff. We just gonna smoke the regular stuff. And guess what? We gonna drink our water at night and deal with that. And one day I never forget. I went in the little TV room. We got like on each tier, you got a TV room, right? I went in the TV room one day, smoking me a blunt, not a blunt, a joint of some purple, no, some sour D's. I never go some sour D's are loud. So I go in the back bench and smoke that. They got 3 dudes sitting in the front bench. I think it's 4 or 5 benches. And they got 3 dudes sitting close to each other in the front bench. So I know what they doing. They smoking. And I on the back bench. I'm smoking by myself. And I rolled me a nice little joint. I'm smoking it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm high, you know what I'm saying? But I'm looking at them and they smoking one little beady, and I'm trying to show y'all a joint in prison. It's like they used to always laugh at me because I used to like when you buy a weed in there, it come in sugar bags. A half a sugar bag is $25. A whole sugar bag is $20. That's how weed go in there. But when I used to buy my sugar bag, I used to buy a $50 sugar bag, and it'd be like a little pillow. It'd be full to the top, and I rolled 2 joints out of that. Everybody else rolled like 10, 15, 20, because in prison, people not around drill, so it don't take but a little bit to get them high. And so the joints in prison is like a Q-tip, or maybe a little bit smaller. That's how small they are, about the same height as this Q-tip. They roll in joint paper. They just roll real, 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 real small. And so I'm in the back bench smoking me a nice little joint, and these dudes on the front bench smoking one of them little beady joint of Mojo, and they all in the front. Now I'm high, but they all on the front bench like somebody punched them, like Mike Tyson punched them. They all on the front bench. They did not know, and I'm like, these dudes dead loaded off one little bitty thing, and I'm high, but I could function high, you know what I'm saying? They can't even function off one stick with 3 people. So I was like, man, I want to try it. But then I was like, no, I just can't. Because it be my look that I tried it and I'm a flash out. Or die or have a stroke or something bad gonna happen. No, I can't do this. But my partner ended up coming up there, one of my homeboys. And we call homeboy people from our hometown, right? So one of my homeboys from Lake Charles come up there, right? He come from work release. So when he come from work release, a lot of times dudes from work release would be able to get through with a whole bunch of drugs. And them dudes in work release, they got world job. They work in the streets. So they able to actually get their hand on, larger quantities of drugs. They ain't got to worry about, they ain't got to go through a CO to get it like dudes in prison do. They actually able to go to the streets and get it themselves because they got jobs. So he come in and he makes it in with a baby powder thing full of Mojo packed in there. He actually makes it in prison with it. So all my homeboys at that time, they had already moved toward the Mojo, because the Mojo you could beat a piss test with it and it gets you way higher. I was really like the last one to be like, man, I'm not smoking that. So one day, whenever they come, you all get to, eat. It's 3. It's actually 5 units, but it's 3 units on our side. Cajun 1, Cajun 2, Cajun 3. I think he went in Cajun. No. I lied. He went in Hope. They got Hope. Hope is for all of the honor students, all of the honor prisoners, and the prisoners that has a vocation. They in vocational school. That's where they stay at. So he ended up going down there for some reason. I don't know, because he got kicked out of work release. So he go down there. So we can't meet. This is bothering my neck, bro. I ain't capping. I'm talking. This bothering my neck. So anyway, we go to child. After child, everybody telling me woo de woo here, woo de woo. It just came up here, woo de woo. So I could go down there, but that's trying my luck. Because we go to other unit, but you're not supposed to. So I say what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wait and catch up with him after lunch, after everybody eat, they open up the gym and they open up the big yard. Now each unit got its own yard, but then they got a big yard for everybody to come every day. Plus plus the gym open up so everybody can go in the gym. So I go in the gym, I look for him, he not in there. I go in the big yard, and it's somebody who I was like real close with. Older dude, a little older than me. Free my boy Mark. He back in jail, man. Free my boy Mark, man. Free my boy, man. My boy, man. But anyway, so I go in the big yard and I spot him. All of my homeboys riding around. That's how it be when you're in prison. Like somebody come, and all they homeboys lying around them, talking to them, asking what they need, if they do need some, or like he was coming from work release. He wasn't coming from diagnostics, so he already had everything. You know what I'm saying? He fly because he got the shoes and everything, and from work release and stuff. So he see me, we like, man, what's up, man? We running it, you feel me? And they smoking, they passing some joints around, a whole bunch of joints, a whole bunch of them. They passing it around, and he like, man, I got something for you, bro. I got something for you. So I'm like, what you talking about? He said, we gonna talk. So they all smoking. And I had another homeboy, man, that's crazy, man. I forgot his first, Silver crazy, man. That man, crazy, man. Silver he already was a dude. He one of them dudes, like, I don't know if y'all know nobody like this, but he one of them dudes, like, he done so much drugs in his life. He just slow motion. He's normal. He just normally slow. And that's how he is. Like, what up, bro? What's up, bro? And so they all passed. And I think there was probably like about, man, because there was a whole bunch of them. So it probably was about 7 or 8 joints just being passed around, right? And I'm like, man, what y'all smoking on? Then I smell it. Then I'm like, man. He like, man, you don't smoke Mojo? I'm like, hell nah, bro. I ain't trying to die, bro. You feel me? I ain't trying to die, bro. And he like, man, look, son, I got something for you, bro. You heard me? He let me know he came with something. And I'm like, man, how let me, bro? You heard me? So we running it. We all out there, man. And I end up getting peer pressure. I tripped out. And Silver Rain, the dude I'm telling you about, he passed me. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, man, I said I would never do this. Right? But like and I'm just so happy to see my partner. I got caught up in the mood. I got caught up, and it's just like we under this, we didn't went sit down now. It's like, it's a little spot where you can sit down with a thing under it, right? And there's like some bleachers, and they got like a little roof on top. So we sitting down, and it's crazy because I'm like, I'm like, man, and I hit it. And I hit it like some weed. You know, when you hit weed, you don't gotta hit that mojo like that, bro. You hit the weed. I hit the weed. Hold it in for a little while, blow it out. Man, why I did that with that mojo, bro. Then another jerk coming, like it's a rotation. And so, listen, it almost like, I'm trying to see like on the movie, like with a movie of a time machine or something, like where you see the person body stay still, but everything around them just go. That's what happened. Now, I've been in prison a long time at this point. I ain't gotta worry about nobody playing with me. If anything, everybody gonna make sure I'm good. So I had a thing that I used to do when I was in prison. I don't know what it was, but hold on before I get into that. So yeah, so when I was in prison, like, every day you wear your regular clothes, but you got your fly clothes for visitation or to take pictures. So man, I hit this weed, I hit this mojo, bro, and dog, it's like I was in a whole nother, like, I wasn't even in jail no more. Like, it was, so now all my homeboys looking at me like, man, you good? I'm like, I can't even really talk. Like, I couldn't even really talk. I'm like, I'm trying to tell them I'm good. And so I'm me should have left and went on my mama, and then I stay out there. And another one coming, I hit it, and now I done got to the mat. I'm at that point now where it's like I don't even really know where I'm at, how to get to my dome, and I can't be. But I kept it together for the most part because they didn't stop me. Because them people see you and stop you, and be like, man, come on, bro. They know. I'm talking about the COs. So I just told them, I was like, look out. I remember telling them, bro, I'm like, look, I gotta go. And Silver ran, he's stupid. He like, what's wrong? And they just out there just smoking like it's normal. Cause like I say, they've been, but there's still some dangerous stuff, bro. And so, dog, my homeboy, the one who came, he like, where you going, bro? Where you going? I'm like, I'm trying to formulate, I gotta go, but I can't say it like I want to say it. I'm like, I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta go. You know what I'm saying? And I finally making my way somehow. I don't remember what happened after that. I finally make my way out of the group, out the big yard. It's a lot of traffic. It's people running around the big yard. It's people everywhere. It's the whole, you know what I'm saying? And so I make it to the gate of the big yard. Now I get on the main walk. I'm heading to my unit. I go in my unit. Now when you go in the unit got 8 dormitories, right? Well, 8 tiers, I'm gonna say, not dormitory, but it's like tiers. So when you walk in, it's 2 tiers right here on your left, and in the front of every tier is the shower. So I look on the right. I look on the right in the shower. I see my daddy in the shower. My daddy not in jail, of course, and he in the shower. He like, "What you doing? What you doing?" I'm like, "Man, I'm blitzed." So I make it to my bed. I make it to my unit. I make it to my bed. I'm drinking water. I call one of my homeboys and tell him what just happened. I'm like, man, I just want mojo, dog. I'm lit. I don't know what to do. I'm all messed up. What should I do? I'm scared now because I'm like, should I go to the hospital? Should I go? But if I go to the infirmary, I'm in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't take medication. So why would you be acting this way? Why are you know what I'm saying? He like, no, look, man, just stay right here. I'm gonna give you something to drink. I'm gonna go make some food. I'm gonna go cook some. I can't even eat though now. So a thing what I used to do is whenever I used to get loaded, I used to want to get fresh and fly. So I just start taking all my clothes off. Start taking my clothes off that I had on, which was just my regular everyday, probably sweats or whatever. And I start getting dressed like I'm going to visitation. I'm going to take pictures. I'm fly. So not everybody looking at me for sure. Not everybody like. And then my partner started making jokes and telling people. So now they all joking on me and playing. Uh, and I'm like, I'm just looking because I'm so blitzed. I can't even really. But anyway, long story short, next day I talked to my homeboy. I'm like, man, you got some more of that? He like, that's what I'm trying to tell you. I got something for you. He blessed me with a nice little bit, and I just started smoking it. So this how I lost my I wanted to just give a, you know, a a whole German timeline of me and Mojo in prison, right? And so I got a homeboy from Marrero, man, which is like New Orleans, right as a bridge separated 504. My boy Brandon Watts, man. Shout out to my boy, man. My boy did 20 years flat. He home now. Him and his girl be going everywhere, traveling. Man, I just love to see my homeboy, man, doing his thing. But anyway, man, shout out to him, man. Shout out to my boy, man. Me and him was jam tight. Jam tight. We used to eat together, gamble together. We did a lot of things together. He was, he was one of the dudes, like I say, that wasn't my homeboy. And we did pretty much everything together, you know what I'm saying? But he had his homeboy, so he did certain things with his homeboy, and I did with my homeboy. We did a lot together. And then we was on the tier, we was on the same tier. But we both used to gamble together. So one day, I'll never forget this, bro. I remember this 2014, LSU playing Auburn, right? Both of them ranked. Leonard Fournette playing for LSU. But again, both of these teams ranked, and me and him did these things called tickets. Now, what tickets is the same thing like FanDuel DraftKings, all that. They've been doing that in prison. The only thing different was like different people in the prison, they start their own ticket, they start their own FanDuel. But the only thing different from FanDuel and there is you gotta at least pick 4 teams. And all 4 teams that you pick gotta come through for you to win. And the odds is 4 for 10, 6 for 20. But you don't gotta pick, you can pick more than 4. I think it was 5 for 15, 6 for 20. But that's how the pick system goes. You had to pick, the least you can pick is 4 teams. And you pick your 4 teams, and if they hit, you get some money. But that day, me and him had a 5 pick. I never forget. I forgot how much money we put on it. But the odds for 5 picks is 15. So if you put $5, that's 15 times 5, you're gonna win. I forgot how much me and him put, but I think we put like $5 on. That's why I said that. So we about to hit for what? What that is? $45? $45. Is it? 13, 13, 13, 13, 40. Yeah, that's 45, right? No. My bad. 15, 15, 15 to 30, 30, 60. That's 7. We got there for 75. But I think we put more in on it that day. Because we were waiting for a big hit. We were waiting for a big hit, right? Now, this the same year I'm supposed to go parole. Like I said, I'm parole. I'm going home in December this year. This around September, October. Now he ended up getting him a package of some mojo, right? So, like I say, by me and him being so jammed, he break me off. So he called me, he said, look, he said, I know how you is. You like to smoke by yourself. This not the kind of mojo you smoke by yourself. You want to smoke with somebody. Right? And I'm like, man, whatever. And he say also, the person that I got this from, they people that sent it to him sprayed it with extra spray. So it's real strong. So don't try to smoke no whole thing and don't smoke by yourself. Of course, what do? I go on the tier. I mean, I leave out of the TV room, go where he telling me this by my bed. But anyway, I go in my locker, you open your locker box to hide your face and your body from, the front. Smoke a whole stick. Thank goodness that I took the rest of what he gave me and put it in my baby powder. But I smoked all that whole stick. And I'm saying to myself, man, Lack told me this was going to be, that's what his name, Lack. Lack told me this was all this and all that. I'm good. Go back in the TV room watching the game. All our team come through. We only waiting on LSU. I remember this like it was yesterday, bro. Auburn and LSU playing in Auburn. Both of these teams ranked, and they give LSU 9 points. Me and him couldn't skip that 9 point. We took the 9 point. All our teams winning, all our other 4 teams good. We just waiting on this game. It's the only game we're waiting on. So we crump in the TV room. We happy with everything, and all of a sudden, not so much as I sit down, I felt it, and I say, "Oh my God!" So when I get full of that mojo, I don't know why it's something I always, because it's not a thing everybody. It happened to me a lot though. When I get full of that mojo back then, I haven't smoked mojo, man, and I never, of course, smoked. I don't smoke nothing. But anyway, man, I know it's about to be a problem because I've smoked mojo at this time for a nice little bit of time. Like since my partner came up there and gave me my own little my own little, and throughout that time I had got rid of. I stopped. You can't smoke weed no more once you start smoking mojo because it's not gonna feel the same because it's like 10 times the higher of the weed or 20 times. But anyway, so I done been smoking mojo probably at this point probably about a year, 2 years at this point, at least a year and a half. So I'm able to, contain myself at this point. But this mojo, bro, I never forget it was some black mojo. I never forget it, bro. And I had never seen no black mojo. I've seen red at that point, but I had never seen no black. And bro, so I laid up there and I know something wrong, but I don't want to say nothing right now. Because all I would do is get my partner to try to, take me to my bed and, make sure I'm good, make sure I don't flash out. But sometimes niggas flash out. Man, so I'm in the TV room, I'm watching the game, and I can't keep up with the game. and I don't even know what's going on. I don't even know what's going on no more. And I put my headphones on, and I'm deaf. I done went deaf. I'm looking at my JP4 player, my music playing, and I don't hear nothing. So I was like, you don't hear these headphones? He's like, yeah, I hear them. Like, I can't hear. And so now I can't hear, and I'm losing my sight. Like, I'm losing my sight. Like, it's kind of blink, and I'm like, yeah, I think I made a mistake. So now I'm trying to look for him, but he lagged because he he was a hustler, so he was moving around and doing this and doing, so I couldn't find him. So I don't remember I don't remember what happened next. I can't remember what happened next. But all I know is I woke up in the infirmary on the floor, telling the people, "Man, I'm effed up." That's all I remember, because I remember I woke up in the infirmary again at the prison hospital, and when I wake up in there, they like, I never forget, some guards came in and said, "What's wrong with you?" And I said, I'm effed up. I never forget that. I'm on the floor because they got a room in the infirmary where they hold the beds and stuff, and I'm in there, the bedding and all that. I'm in there on the floor. You know what I mean? And when he come in and he say, "What's wrong with you? What did you take?" I say, "I'm effed up." And he say, "Okay, yeah, that's what I thought." And close the door on me. Man, that's all I remember, man. And like I say, when you get in a situation that they shake the dome down, and before you go to the cell block for a minimum 90 days for being under the influence or something. And of course, that day, Auburn ended up blowing LSU out. So we lost that. I ended up losing. I had to go back in the cell block. And when you in your jokes, when you in your jokes and general population, you do not want to have to go back to the cell block, bro. So I had to go back to the cell block. And it just was an ugly situation, man. But it is what it is. And I went to the cell block, and about a week I was in the cell block. I got a letter from the parole board saying that you can't go home when you're in the cell block or you had any disciplinary type of action, so your parole is denied. Talk to us in 6 months. And I wasn't really that hurt, because I knew that I knew not only that I had another 6 months, I was gonna be able to go back to the parole board, but I also knew that I had all this stuff coming up, pre-release, and I had all kind of programs I was getting through, because I was at the end of my jokes, at the end of my sentence, so I wasn't really tripping. But and of course, like I said, I lost my parole date, man. But yeah, man, that's all I want to talk about on there. That's episode 10 of Real Life Prison Story. Now let's get into this. We're gonna start with the Jaden Ivey situation. So I'll be right back. Let me get my thing. Of course, y'all know how I do it. Y'all know how the boy do it. Y'all know how the boy do it. We're gonna So we're gonna do it. We're gonna yeah. We're gonna play this. And of course, y'all know how I do it. I'm gonna chime in. I'm gonna have to put a whistle column on there so I can know.
Not the J I used to be, but the OJ is dead. Love of Christ. No matter what the basketball setting is, I'm born again. The Holy Spirit. I've been saved by Jesus Christ. No matter how many DMPs I don't get to play, or no matter how many points I score, those things are a temporary thing.
Faith isn't for the weak, because God gives his test to his strongest soldiers, most definitely. And, I really can't kind of go deep into that, with the stuff that's kind of going on with, the Ivy situation. I don't want to, get away with anything. So we're going to keep it at that point.
Wait. So we got to talk about a viral story that is creating a whole lot of controversy and backlash against the NBA after the Chicago Bulls basically fired player Jaden Ivey after he spoke out against the NBA for promoting Pride Month and unrighteousness, according to ESPN. Now, Jaden Ivey is or was a NBA player. I mean, I guess he technically still is, even though he's been waived. He has been undergoing a Christian transformation, right? He's getting more in touch with his faith. He's speaking out on his faith. And he said some things about Pride Month that the woke revolutionaries didn't like, okay? And the LGBTQ lifestyle. The NBA, we know, is super woke, ultra woke. The Chicago Bulls released him as a result of what he said. And a lot of people are now saying that the NBA released Jaden Ivey because of him speaking out on his faith, right? Because of his Christian beliefs. So I want to talk about it because, of course, there's two sides to this. There are people who are supporting Jaden Ivey, okay, and they're backlashing against the NBA. And then you have people who are happy that NBA did what they did, or that the Chicago Bulls did what they did. And I want to talk about it. So I want to play some clips of Jaden Ivey speaking out and reacting to getting waived by the Chicago Bulls. Take a look.
That the world can proclaim LGBTQ. Right? They proclaim Pride Month in the NBA. They proclaim it. They show it to the world. They say, come join us for Pride Month, to celebrate unrighteousness. They proclaim it. They proclaim it on the billboards. They proclaim it in the streets. Unrighteousness. So how is it that one can't speak righteousness? How is it one that how are they to say that you man, this man is crazy and turned to Jesus Christ and gave up the world?
Our safety check. Please let us know if you have any questions.
As we get ready for takeoff,
The world ain't offer nothing, but there's nothing good.
we appreciate you.
Nothing
and
good.
Thank you for flying with Delta.
Russell.
Nothing good.
Thank you for flying with Delta.
Nothing good in the world besides following Jesus Christ. They said my conduct is detrimental to the team, right? Why didn't they just say we don't agree with his stance on LGBTQ? Why didn't they say that? Well, how is it conduct detrimental to the team? What did I do to the team?
Because again, thou shalt not speak against the liberal black female. Thou shalt not speak against LGBTQ. But you can talk about conservative people. You can talk about men. You can talk about anything. Just don't talk about those two things, or you will be canceled. So your conduct was not detrimental to the team. Also, you wasn't the best player. If you was a Steph Curry or one of these big names, they wouldn't have did that. They would have came out and said, because this is what they should have done. They would have came out and said, you know what? We as a team do not support what he's saying. His thoughts are his own thoughts, right? But they got rid of that man because he was hurt. He was up and coming, but he was hurt. And again, this young man was raised by his mother, and he handled this situation without tact. But I'm still supporting him because he's doing it for God, if that's the truth. And I believe it is. He's been preaching, street preaching. He's been doing a lot of things. And, it's just unfortunate, man. It's just an unfortunate situation that this brother is going through, all because that he just spoke his mind about something that is evil. And it's funny how, we have to bend over backwards for, I want to say, not even 10% of the world population. Now, I do understand that there's a lot of people that's LGBTQ, LMNOP that's not claiming to be that. And that's probably also another reason why he was let go, because there could be somebody in the organization that probably don't like what he said. But again, what he said is the truth, and nobody should be forced to support that. Now, the breast cancer thing, what a guy wear pink, I'm all for that. Mental health, I'm all for that. All of the things, of course, what they do for the soldiers in these leagues and the players with fatigue, I'm all for that. When you talk about LGBTQ, that goes against a lot of these players' fate. A lot of these players, more and more, even the younger guys, are starting to proclaim Christ, and that is anti-Christ. LGBTQ is anti-Christ. I don't judge gay people. I have gay friends. And another thing, going back to when I was in prison, I began, because before prison, I hated them, didn't understand them. But once I went to prison, what I understand, there's a lot of people that's gay is because somebody had molested them. So these hurt people and turn these poor children into gay children, and they end up being gay men. And the process usually continues because they end up hurt another child. That's why you got to be very careful who you have your child around. But I digress on that. So I understand gay people. I have gay friends. I have trans friends. But again, when I go around them or when they come around me, I'm not going to bend a fold and, not say what I want to say. But again, they understand me. They know how I am. They know I'm outspoken. They know I'm unapologetic with my faith. And I support him in that. But I think he could have came about it a different way. But again, I think he was wrong. And if I was him, he should sue the NBA and the Chicago Bulls. But let's continue.
What did I do to the players? I did nothing but practice with them, play with them, pass the ball to them, good teammate to them. Said good job, good shot. I said, good job, good pass. Way to play, bro. Right? I said these things to my teammates.
And all of them so weak, and they worship money and the lifestyle. Ain't none of them came out and spoke up for him. Man, that dude was a good teammate, and they bet not that they gonna be right with him. And that's just, that's just unfair. But let them say something about Trump or a conservative person. They good with that. Just not fair, unbalanced scale.
Was never detrimental to them. So why is it that the NBA and the Chicago Bulls say that I'm detrimental to the team? How? Because I believe in the truth. Because I know Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. That's why you got Steph Curry, and he not even surrendered. And y'all believe he's a Christian. Y'all believe he's a Christian because he wrote Philippians 4:13. Y'all think he's a Christian. But he cursing just like the world.
Yeah. So you see, now you heard that. Now I can answer Jalen Ivey's question in regards to what they mean when they say that we're firing you because your conduct is detrimental to the team. What they really mean is that your conduct is detrimental to the NBA's woke brand, right? That is what they actually really mean. Like, the NBA is woke. They want the world to know that they're woke, and his comments go against wokeness. So therefore, it is detrimental to the woke brand that they're trying to protect. That's what the NBA actually really means, right? That is what the Chicago Bulls mean. So you have people who are upset with the NBA, okay, and the Chicago Bulls, and then you have people who are defending the Chicago Bulls in the NBA. Let's talk about the people who are coming to Jaden Ivey's defense. For example, you have other athletes who are speaking out on this, like Travion Henderson, who plays football for the Patriots, I believe. He says, quote, "Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is in the kingdom of heaven." Matthew 5:10. Yeah. So again, you have players who are speaking out on this, and you have people online speaking out on this, coming to Jaden's defense, basically saying, yeah, the NBA, they're firing this guy because of his Christian beliefs. Take a look.
Travion quoted some Bible verses supporting a Chicago Bulls player who got released for some comments that he made. And I just thought, how do you measure the line between conduct detrimental to the team, which is why the Bulls released the player in their view, and allowing a 23-year-old to, express his personal beliefs?
I think there's a fine line. I'm going to tell you, I love Travion. I love the person. He cares deeply about our team. He cares deeply about his faith. He cares deeply about his family, his wife, the people in our building. And so I want them to be able to express what they believe in their heart and in their mind. but also want to make sure that they're educated, and we want to be inclusive. We want to, everything we want to do wants to provide an environment for people to, one, feel comfortable, but also to share their personal beliefs. And then also we represent the team, and then we represent the organization.
So let me get this straight. Ja Morant brought a loaded gun into a strip club on Instagram Live, stayed on the team.
I did a 3-part series on that. Y'all can go check that out. But again, Ja Morant is a star player. He at that, especially at that particular time, he's since fizzled out because they seen that they had to replace him. But he had the opportunity to be the face of the league. But he ruined that with that, and they slowly began to move away from him. And then he started getting hurt, and his points started. He basically ruined himself when he did that. But he still, well, again, at that time, he was at the height of his career. He was a star player. He was generating a lot of money for the NBA. They suspended him, but they wasn't going to fire him and expel him.
Josh Giddey found that an underage girl stayed on the team. Jason Williams fatally shot and killed a limousine driver, stayed on the team. Every player in the 70s and 80s, crack cocaine, stayed on the team. Jaden Ivey says, I don't support LGBTQ. Waived from the team.
Now, you can get it here. The parts you need, right where you can get them, on parts.pat.com.
Get the same trusted Lysol disinfection that has a scent that'll make you move. Effortlessly kill.
Or LGBTQ. Waived from the team. Gone.
The NBA cutting Jaden Ivey for him speaking on his Christian beliefs is so wild to me. Am I surprised? No. But I just don't understand how come he can't have his freedom of speech. The Bible talks about, of course, to live for Christ, to die for him. So many times that you speaking up for your Christian beliefs and values and all of the things, it's going to come with conflict. I understand that. I'm not negating that. I just don't understand cutting him. Like, people are not going to always agree with each other. That is fair to say. I just think it's so absurd to cut this man and criticize this man for him honestly giving his opinion. People have their own opinions. I just don't. There's players who say, oh, I don't drink. A lot of these arena stadiums promote drinking. There's Budweiser, there's Michelob Ultra on the court, all these things. Do they get waived or do they get what? I just feel like it's all the same at this point. And he's right. We're all going to have to stand before God on Judgment Day. So why would he allow someone or a company he works for to hinder him getting into heaven?
We live in a world where everybody's so scared to offend each other and call each other out. Jaden Ivey was not wrong about anything that he said. Acting gay is a sin, and the NBA is wrong for promoting that sin by having these pride games and celebrating Pride Month. They know a good portion of their audience are young, impressionable children. Why are they bringing sexuality into the picture? It's basketball. What does it got to do with sexuality? It's perverted and it's evil. And it's meant to separate people from Christ. It's deeper than what it seems like on the surface. This is real spiritual warfare. And unfortunately, because Jaden Ivey wants to call this out, he was a young, solid, up-and-coming player. He's out of the league now. And Jaden Ivey was also right about everything he said about Stephen Curry, LeBron James, Michael Jordan. Their worldly accomplishments mean nothing. All their MVPs, their rings, none of that matters. What matters is, are they saved? And at the end of the day, their salvation matters just more than their comfort. I know what Jaden Ivey said ruffled everybody's feathers. Everybody's just super offended by it. Who cares? People need to find God. People need to be saved. Understand that Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. If you have to ruffle some feathers along the way, who cares? Be bold about the truth.
Yeah, so you see, now you heard that. Now you have some individuals on the other side of this who also probably were very upset when you had a bunch of liberals and leftists getting fired from their job for celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk, him being assassinated. Some of these same individuals, okay, on this side of the aisle, are now saying, no, freedom of speech has consequences, right? You have freedom of speech to say what you want, but your employer can fire you for saying things that are harmful to the company or doesn't align with the company's values. They're essentially justifying the NBA and what they did, and saying that the comments were homophobic and that Jalen Ivey is a bad person for making the comments. Take a look.
Pride Month ain't got to do with you. Pride Month ain't got to do with you nuts. This is NBA player for the Chicago Bulls, Jaden Ivey. Well, he was an NBA player for the Chicago Bulls. And after bizarre rant condemning Pride Month and the NBA, the fact the NBA recognizes that this man was waived by the Chicago Bulls. He was waived. Basically, he's on the bench sideline and probably going to be let go. Look, Jaden Ivey and those who believe as he believes. You don't have to celebrate love, authentically living the truth. You really don't. You don't. But the fact that I do should not cause you to throw away a multi-million-dollar career. That's crazy. That's crazy. But it is the reality for way too many people in 2026. Homophobia and transphobia has you in the chokehold. And I pray the blood of Jesus Christ over your life to free you.
Whole Jaden Ivey situation is funny because you can clearly see that the man needs help, regardless of if he's found Christ or not. There's no problem if he's talking about God. That's not why he got kicked out of the NBA. First of all, freedom of speech does not mean freedom of consequences. If I were to walk into my job right now this morning and say homophobic slurs or discriminate any group, I'm getting fired. So I don't know why people think the NBA is going to be any different. But more importantly, it is clear that Jaden Ivey needs some type of help. It is not normal to go on Instagram Live, have a 180 flip from the day before, and just start going on these rants, attacking people, commenting, saying that they're going to pray for you. You telling them, oh, don't pray for me, you're a sinner. This is not normal behavior, regardless. This man said he abused his wife on Instagram Live. Went on, started calling out LeBron, Steph Curry for not being real Christians. Started saying complete nonsense. It is clear he is going through something right now. He even said he was depressed earlier this year. And now you have people completely ignoring the fact that he needs help and just saying, oh, Christ is king. He got kicked out of the league because he's a Christian. That's not even like, bro, oh my God.
Jaden Ivey is released from the Bulls after he goes on a rant about the LGBTQAI plus community. And I just want to say, the same God that y'all keep trying to proclaim is punishing y'all because y'all are trying to do the exact same thing that the colonizers did during slavery, which was use God as a tool to oppress his people.
Jaden Ivey just got released from the Chicago Bulls yesterday over some bullshit that he was saying. And people are on the internet talking about he can have an opinion. Freedom of speech doesn't mean that there won't be any consequence behind what you say. He's not going to jail for the comments. His employer said, we're not fucking with you no more. You can say whatever you want on the internet, but there's always going to be repercussions behind that. If I made a TikTok account bashing women, right, and I meet a woman in person, she's never seen any of my videos, and then she finds out how I speak on women, she will probably say, fuck, bro. People get judged on opinions every single day. That's literally your image. How you are portraying yourself, what you are saying. Now somebody else has to sit back, reflect, and be like, is Jaden Ivey a good representation of our company, of our team? Nope. So he's fired. You could never go to your job and spew a level of hate speech. That just doesn't even make sense. We are not calling the police. You didn't get a maximum life sentence. We're just going to fire you. We don't want you here. That's exactly what happened to Jaden Ivey.
Earn up to $3,000 in commission rebates.
Everything they love about Welch's fruit snacks, now with no artificial dyes. A snack parents can feel good at.
We're just going to fire you. We don't want you here. That's exactly what happened to Jaden Ivey.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Now, here's how I feel about this, okay? I personally believe that there's a few things that can be true at the same time, okay? I do think that Jaden Ivey was fired for expressing his Christian beliefs. And I also find it to be fascinating how him expressing his Christian beliefs somehow, some way translates into he needs help, right? Notice how that works, okay? When it's anybody else's faith, anybody else's religion, when they wear it on their sleeves, nobody thinks that they're mentally ill. But when a Christian wears their faith on their sleeve, right, is very open about their faith, everybody thinks, oh, something's wrong with that person, right? That person must be going through something. There must be some issue. And I'm not saying that Jaden Ivey.
That's a bully tactic to make you not That's a bully tactic.
May or may not have had some issues, growing up or whatever. But I don't think his issues are his Christian faith. And I don't think that his Christian faith or him expressing his Christian faith is an extension of whatever issues he may or may not have, right? But that's the way that people are framing this, right? They're framing this as if this guy is something's wrong with him because he's expressing his Christian beliefs. To me, I just don't like that, right? But that's kind of how the story is shaping up. Okay, they're saying that he was, talking about this in the locker room, and that he may have been very, aggressive about his faith in the locker room. All I know is that if he was any other religion, right, if he was Muslim or Jewish or Hindu or whatever, right, and again, he was wearing his faith on his sleeve, even in the locker room, okay, even on Instagram Live, I guarantee you the NBA would not have did what they did, right? I guarantee you the Chicago Bulls would not have handled it the way they handled it. They may have ended up, cutting the guy or waving the guy eventually. But from my understanding, Jaden Ivey was only on the team for a very short period of time, right? We're talking about maybe a few days, maybe a week or something like that. And then they waived him, right? They cut him. I guarantee you they wouldn't have did it the way they did it had it been anybody else, right? That was practicing a different faith. So the reason why they did it the way they did it, right, is because in America, it is acceptable to humiliate Christians or to punish Christians for expressing their faith. It's not acceptable to punish Muslims or any other group of people for openly expressing their faith. We're supposed to respect that. Well, see, you don't understand. Well, that's just him expressing his faith, right? Like, are you Islamophobic? Okay, we have freedom of religion in this country, right? Notice how, again, if it's any other faith, it's always, well, see, freedom of religion, right? But when it's Christian, oh, well, see, you're pushing your faith on everybody. That makes us uncomfortable, right? That's how it always is, every single time. So I think that it can be true, right? That, yeah, he was fired for expressing his Christian faith. But what also can be true as well, too, is that in the eyes of the woke NBA, who's trying to protect their woke brand, him doing that, him specifically criticizing the NBA in Pride Month, right, in their celebration of Pride Month, was detrimental to their woke brand, right? And because it was detrimental to their woke brand, they decided to get rid of the guy because essentially he could cost the league money. And furthermore, on top of that, the woke brand doesn't mind criminals, thugs, gangbangers. The NBA doesn't care about that, right? If you commit a crime, right, if you do something crazy like Ja Morant, then, hey, it's totally fine, right? The NBA is not going to cut you for the team, okay? But, if you express your Christian beliefs and you offend a certain crowd of people, then, that's too much, right? That is a threat to our woke brand. It should tell you everything you need to know about what wokeness represents. Now, do I agree with the NBA and their woke brand or wanting to protect their woke brand? No, I don't agree with that. But I can understand the economics or the business decision behind what they did, right? So I think, again, two things can be true at the same time. Yeah, he was fired for expressing his Christian faith, but also at the same time, him expressing his Christian faith in the way that he did goes against the woke brand that the NBA wants. And that's, ultimately why he was fired, right? So I think that's kind of where we're at, to be honest with you. I'm just saying my whole point is that had this been any other religion, right? If he was expressing any other faith, I don't think the NBA would have handled this the way they did it. I just think that only Christians, right? It's only okay to publicly humiliate Christians or to punish Christians for their faith or openly speaking out of their faith. It's never okay to do it for anybody else. And I think that is my main issue with this. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.
Beat the April 15th tax deadline. Let a TurboTax expert file your taxes for you. Have multiple jobs.
Yo, if you're a black man that grew up in a ghetto in a single parent household, then we all can relate that at one point in time or another, we all believed we was going to be some sort of athlete. That was the precedent that was set for us. We believed that if we tried hard enough and we came from a place of poverty, that one day God would shine his light on us. And that is a lie. But before I get into everything with Jaden Ivey, I need something from y'all. Subs, likes, run that hype to help me build out this channel. All right, look. Now, what if I ask you, yo, how much money you done made since you've been on freecash.com? And your response is, it ain't on full, I ain't done. You bugging. I'm going to tell you that you bugging because I've been put you on 2-3 months ago about freecash.com. Freecash.com is certified in the App Store. There's tons of reviews. They verify that it's legit. Use and scan the QR code that you see on the screen. You might as well sign up, kill some time on your phone, and get some money in the process. Tell them Wayno sent you freecash.com. Basketball players be putting on master classes as how to fumble the bag. If you want to learn how to fumble multi-millions, great opportunities, great branding, and all types of relationships, just follow some of these ball players. Jaden Ivey has been crashing out on social media over the past 48 hours. And here's the thing. I'm not mad at people finding faith and all of that, but you got to figure out what your path is in life, what you want to be responsible for, what you want to be known for. Jaden Ivey was a lottery pick in 2022, the 5th pick out of Purdue to go to the Detroit Pistons. Currently, the Detroit Pistons are the favorites to win the East right now. Cade Cunningham got a collapsed lung. He out. He getting himself together. But Jaden Ivey was there, and right before the trade deadline, they shook everything up, got rid of him, and got rid of a few other people in a multi-team trade, right? Now, Jaden Ivey, talented player. His mom's is a professional. She's a coach. She got a lot of good things going on with her. But you got to be responsible for yourself, right? And understanding that when you start talking, you don't only represent yourself. The thing about what Jaden Ivey is going through is he thinks, how is my conduct detrimental to the team? Nigga, you play for the team. You represent the team. When you go do things, you do stuff for the team. No different than anything else in life. Hard concept to grasp. Now, you have a lot of people who are defending Jaden Ivey and saying, well, he's speaking for Christianity, and how can you speak for Christianity? And when you start talking about the LGBTQ community and all that, nigga, are you a political activist? Are you a pastor? Or are you a ball player? Not saying that you can't do all three, but don't mess the bag up. Let's watch one of these videos.
The world can proclaim LGBTQ, right? They proclaim Pride Month and the NBA. They proclaim it. They show it to the world. They say, come join us for Pride Month, to celebrate unrighteousness. They proclaim it. They proclaim it on the billboards. They proclaim it in the streets. Unrighteousness. So how is it that one can't speak righteousness? How is it one that how are they to say that you man, this man is crazy?
Now imagine you just
and it's another thing. This dude was raised by a single mother. She was in the WNBA, and you'll sit back and you'll hear people say, "Well, all single parent mother, all children that come up in single parent households ain't turn out bad, and I'm doing fine." And he made it to the NBA, and again, you can clearly see this man is very timid. He's confused. He's on the right path. But he was overly emotional and impulsive by doing this right in the middle of a season while he hurt. It's things you got to do with. You got to be diplomatic when you deal with things like this. Now, if God tell you to do it now, and that's why I don't want to say it, because maybe God told him to do it at that moment. I don't know. If he did and he was obedient to God, screw what I'm saying. But just listening to him talk, if you didn't know no better, you would think he's LGBTQ. But it's not that. It's how these young boys are raised. Because again, remember I told you that at the beginning of this video, Single mothers only raise two type of children. There's only two type of single mothers: either the one who neglect the children or the one who's overly involved and overly spoils him. And as we know, nothing in this world that's spoiled can be made good again. You can see he's a spoiled little boy, and he's just timid when he talks, and this is just how these young men are today. You know what I'm saying? And he made a decision that I think was made out of hate, so I think he should have did it more diplomatically. He could have came about it a different way. And again, I'm all for what he's doing. I'm all for what he's talking about. I support him. I'm a man of God. I'm against LGBTQ. But when you gotta feed your family, you gotta feed your family. So I just don't think the way he did was the best way, but I'm still supporting him 100% because I don't know his personal relationship with God. Maybe God told him to do it now. And if God told him to do it now, God is gonna make sure he's okay. But I definitely would sue the NBA and the Chicago Bulls because my conduct was not detrimental to the team. Maybe I had an outlook or a thought. You telling me Josh Giddey, like this guy just said, Josh Giddey with the underage girl, that's not detrimental to the team, but it could be. Somebody could say, you know what, I don't want to play with no pedophile. Or you could have had people with John Moran say, I don't want to play with guys who always have guns. I don't feel safe. So his behavior off the court is detrimental to the team. None of that happened because those players are star players. So it's also unbalanced scale, respect the person, but it's also protection of a community that hardly America, not even 10% of America, is a part of. I mean, of course, we know that under 10% really is about probably 20% because all of the people who undercover brothers and undercover sisters, but still, we should not be cowed-tied. And this is America, and I do understand the freedom of speech doesn't mean you don't have to face consequences. But we should be able to say, as long as we're not talking about hurting or attacking nobody, we should be able to say whatever we want to say. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue.
Hey, nigga chilling on a Monday, and you have no idea that Jaden Ivey got it out for you. I'm going to keep it 100, bro. When I see all the stuff that he's saying, this is my stance on all of the things that he's saying. Who gives a damn? Who gives a damn? Let gay people do whatever the hell they want to do. As long as they ain't bothering you personally or professionally or disrespecting you, leave that shit alone.
Yeah, but what you're not understanding, Wayno, is I don't want to have to support that. I don't want to have to be in the NBA and be with Pride Month or wear the shirt. I don't want to have to be a part of that. And again, it might have was God that told him to speak out about this now. And him speaking out about it could have changed one person. Right? So I understand where you coming from, even the thing that I said. But again, we don't know his personal relationship. And if he was told to do this now.
What's the point that you're trying to prove? You just in a long list of other people that have fumbled their bag. Jaden Ivey was making $8.2 million per year. We've possibly seen the end of his career. This year, he was averaging 8.3 points per game, and his career average over the past 4 years is 14.8. What are you doing? You in a position, and you was in a prime position to help your team possibly win and restore the feeling of the Detroit Pistons in 2004 winning the championship back in the Motor City. But here you are, get traded to the Chicago Bulls, and you riding around voluntarily giving it up. He don't know what he's doing. The nigga just out here being messy. Now, like I said, if you dealt with a gay person that did something to you, then have a problem with that person. But if you're addressing all gay people, that's where the problem lies. Now, again, with that being said, you know what my stance is? I have absolutely no stance. Because who cares what I think or don't about those said situations? That's not what I'm up on this channel for. That's not what I do in music. That's not what I'm here for. And I have no problems with anybody who does what they do in their life and live their lifestyle, unless they do something personally to affect me. Now, one may argue that, yeah, they try to force feed the shit to people and they try to throw this and throw that in people's faces. And okay, if that shit makes you uncomfortable, bro, then just don't deal with it. But the crashing out that this nigga is doing is on a whole new level. But before we get into a little bit more of him, let's go to Myers Leonard. Remember Myers Leonard? I'm saying Myers Leonard, he had got traded from Portland over to Miami. He was having a decent career, could give you some decent defense, was good on the block. You know what I mean? Was an inside-outside guy, learned how to put up the three. Big white boy putting up the numbers. Not crazy numbers, but he was a good asset and a good piece to a team. He got to Miami. He got hurt. And then he started streaming. And this is more examples of how these motherfuckers completely throw their bags away. Myers Leonard, when he signed with Miami, he signed a 2-year, $20 million deal. And you know what he couldn't do? Shut the fuck up.
Universal Kids Resort is 7 incredible.
Shut the fuck up.
What did you think were going to be the long-term ramifications?
Jeremy, to be totally honest with you, I was sad that I was losing my job. I was sad that I hurt people. And frankly, all I cared about in my life, outside of taking care of my family, but honestly, it's like 1A and 1B, was going to make this right.
Let's go, baby.
Cowards, it's not me.
The week following the incident, the Heat traded Leonard to the Thunder. The week after that, the Thunder released him. In an instant, Leonard had become a pariah.
Then I felt like I had just destroyed my life and everything that I worked for, to be honest. People had every right to, I suppose, make assumptions about me. People were going to have to in the media comment on this. And I understand. I do. I said, you better go handle this and to show people what's in your heart. But I thought that it'd be easier to be dead than it would be to deal with what had just happened, because I want everyone to like me. I don't hate anybody.
See, Myers, it's unfortunate that you felt like it would have been easier for you to have lost your life, but now you're on national television. This is a couple of years ago, crying like a bitch because you sitting here running your mouth too much, disrespecting people for absolutely no reason. See, he said the K word as it relates to a disrespectful or derogatory term towards Jewish people. I'm not going to say that because I don't care to say that, right? But he said that jokingly. And you know one thing about the white man, he like that. I didn't know that that was disrespectful. I didn't know that that was a problem. I didn't know. And he fumbled his bag. I ain't seen him play another game. He signed a 10-big contract with the Milwaukee Bucks a couple years ago, but it's over for him. It's literally over for him. Now, I want to go back into the Myers Leonard situation because, like I said, he's crashing out on a level unhinged. You know what I mean? Uncomparable. Because why are you dying on this hill? My thing is this, bro. What's your end game? What's your goal? Because you're doing all of this, and I ain't gonna front from the way he's speaking. Some may say, oh, he might be suffering from mental issues, or he has some personal mental issues that he's going through. But for him, he feel like he's saying real shit. He feel like he's speaking his piece. He's saying what's supposed to be said. He's saying how he feels in the eyes of the Lord. Let's watch this, and then we'll come back and talk about more of how to fumble your bag from other players.
The Bible is true, right? And may you be glorified, Jesus. The Bible is true. They said my conduct is detrimental to the team, right? Why didn't they just say we don't agree with his stance on LGBTQ? Why didn't they say that? Well, how is it conduct detrimental to the team? What did I do to the team? What did I do to the players? I did nothing but practice with them, play with them, pass the ball to them, good teammate to them. Said good job, good shot. I said good job, good pass. Way to play, bro. Right? I said these things to my teammates. Was never detrimental to them. So why is it that the NBA and the Chicago Bulls say that I'm detrimental to the team? How? Because I believe in the truth. Because I know Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. How? How is my conduct detrimental to the team? Because of what I believe. Because of what the truth is. Like I said, these things will happen in the word of God. They hated Jesus Christ. They hated him. They don't want to hear his words. They hated Jesus. They stopped him. They stopped the Son of God. They don't want to hear the word. They killed Jesus. They beheaded John the Baptist. This is not about me. This is about the kingdom of God. This is about the truth of the Bible. Because I spoke what the truth is. Because I called these things out.
She steps in, she drives to the hoop, and boom, it's a monster dunk.
I look for something that makes you feel bold.
Because I called these things out.
One thing about these niggas is every time they get in trouble, they want to start bringing God into the mix and putting everything about God and this and that. Oh, they hated Jesus. Nigga, you is not Jesus Christ. You are a shooting guard for the Chicago Bulls under the National Basketball Association. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? You're not Jesus. They don't hate you because you're speaking the truth. You represent an organization. And if the organization has certain values or certain things, or they treat people a certain way, and you go against that, yes, your conduct is detrimental to the organization that pays you, which pays other teammates, because now they get negative press because of these things. Josh Giddey chimed in. Josh Giddey says, he's a very talented player, right? He also says, obviously, the whole thing is kind of unfortunate in a way. I hope he gets the help he needs. Whatever he's going through or not going through, I do really hope he gets the help. It's not going to be with the Bulls anymore, but wherever it is, I hope he gets it. Now, again, it's so much shit going on in the country. It's so much going on politically, economically, morally, and emotionally. Do we need to tack on more? You feel me? We watch sports because we want to be taken away from all of the bullshit that's going on. If I had a tough ass day at work, if I'm beefing with my girl, or if you out here beefing with your girl, or you're beefing with your wife or your baby mother, you know what I'm saying? Or you just going through it in the hood, when you make it back home, you would like to see people play a sport and enjoy it and have fun. It's not about your political views. Now, yes, there are political views that we stand for. But you bugging out. You're bugging out because you have no target in sight. You're just doing it for the vibes. Because now you got people writing comments on your mother's page talking about some, please reach out to your son. At least take his phone. All love. Yeah, your conduct is detrimental to not only your team, but your family and your pockets. Now, I'm not about, don't speak up and say nothing if the wrong thing is being done, but let's call it for what it is, man. If you are one of them people that you can't stand or you hate gay people, then that's your prerogative. But that ain't got nothing to do with what you do publicly as a public figure. When you start having these stances and you start displaying stuff, freedom of speech does not exclude you from consequence. You can say whatever you want, but somebody can smack the shit out you for it. They could lock you up for it. You could be fined for it. It could be all types of consequences that you face because you feel like you want to speak your mind. Now, lastly, I want to go back on players who taught y'all how to fumble their bags and talk about Kai Jones. Do y'all remember Kai Jones? The kid, super duper athletic that was playing for the Charlotte Hornets? I'm not even going to mention my man John Morant and how he might have messed up a couple of things. He's had one of the greatest sneaker years and one of the toughest professional years in his career. And he's healing. He's doing what he got to do to get back on track. John Morant ain't got no trouble in a long time. So this ain't about John Morant. But we all know the problems he had having the wrong people around him because they like to have their phones out. But this is Kai Jones. Kai Jones, another NBA player that thought he was bigger than the program.
Was like the final straw in Charlotte? Because I know you requested a trade before they waived you, or what was that? So like, what was the final straw in Charlotte?
So they were a little concerned about the social media stuff, right?
Yeah.
And they were concerned about my sleeping patterns. They're like, bro, because my great grandma had just passed away.
Yeah.
And they were like, we hope that isn't like bothering you too much. And I was going through some things off the floor, like any person is. And they were like, man, Kai, we just want you to get right. We want you to see a therapist. At this time, I'm stubborn. I'm like, bro, I do not want to see a therapist. I just want to meditate and like clear my head and figure out on my own, use my intuition to figure out my own issues.
Yep.
They're like, no, you should go to a therapist. And I'm like, well, I don't want to go to one, right? So anyway, they're like, all right, Kai, please go to therapy. I end up going, right? I feel like the therapy's not helping. And Mitch tells me I'm not allowed to do training camp. When he tells me that was when I was like, yo, I'm off of this team. Like, how can I play here? They're not letting me do training camp. Like, they're not allowing me to try out for my position, right? So I'm upset. I'm like, yo, I just want to leave now. I'm gonna leave. And I just decided to leave. And then after a couple of days, after you request a trade, so Mitch was like, nobody's really gonna. We feel like you don't have any trade value. That's what Mitch told me.
Yeah.
I said, why not? I don't know. I'm breaking it down to him why I think I do, right? And he doesn't think I do.
You requested to wear the number 23 in a market where Michael Jordan owned the team. They granted you that request. You get there, you start playing, you start doing good, but they put you there with LaMelo Ball, right? And Brandon Miller. And then you start disrespecting these niggas and saying that you better than them and this and that. And then you demand it. Who are you to demand a trade? See, the reason why I wanted to bring up Kai Jones is because he's another one that lost out on his opportunity because he had them Instagram live episodes. That nigga's voluntarily giving it out. Ain't nobody even asking you for it. You just giving it out voluntarily and not making nothing off of your investment, which is your time. Y'all niggas spent y'all whole life from the time y'all was kids to make it to have one of the top jobs out of 400 and then throw it away because of your opinion or because you think that you're better than everybody else. Now, Kai Jones, I remember, he was out the league for a second and then he got another opportunity with the Clippers. And then now ain't been nowhere in sight. So you sacrificed Myers Leonard, you know what I'm saying? He wanted to be saying derogatory racial slurs. You feel me? You got Kai Jones, who just was feeling himself too much. You got your man Jaden Ivey, who, he wanted to speak the word, what he says, the word of God and all of that. And now he's possibly going to lose out on his entire career. All for what? Now, even with all of this that has transpired, right? I seen a tweet that says something to the degree of, oh, but the NBA or all these sports, they let people have guns and drugs and this and that, and they draw the line at the LGBT. Yeah, you want to know why? Because it's possibly somebody from the LGBTQ community who's a big person on that team in the organization. You can't change that.
Yep.
If they having drugs, drug dealers don't run the team. If they're having guns, the president of Glock or Sig Sawyer or Kimber doesn't run or is part of the team. So yeah, you might have said something that offended somebody that worked for the organization, but this is the last part of it, and let's just watch.
That's why you got Steph Curry, and he not even surrendered. And y'all believe he's a Christian. Y'all believe he's a Christian because he wrote Philippians 4:13. Y'all think he's a Christian. But he's cursing just like the world. Friendship with the world is enmity with God. He's friendship with the world. He don't know Jesus. And I pray he comes to the truth. that him and his family would be saved in Jesus' name. Because all that stuff is not going to matter on Judgment Day. All them rings he got. All them rings LeBron got. All them rings Michael Jordan got.
I know Steph Curry, Braun, Mike is all like,
I'm like, what did he say fuck me for?
What you say me for? What did I do?
Yeah.
You feel me?
I didn't.
Now, I guess the biggest takeaway from this.
Unless God told him to call them dudes, I don't think he should have did that. But again, yeah, he did that without tech. It was no tech in his
Is maybe the man needs some help. Maybe he feel like he in the best place he ever been in life. Maybe the NBA is not the thing for him. I just want all y'all up and coming people, whether it is an athlete, an artist, a teacher, whatever it is you want to be or you aspire to be, to understand that your words don't only affect you. This is how I do it myself. For the ones that rock with me, now we're doing. For the ones that don't, eventually will. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Join Planet Fitness down $15.
I think my prison story was what made it go last so long, but I try to do this in 1:30. It's a little over. So we're gonna do is like last weekend, we're gonna do a part 2 to this tomorrow. Thank y'all. God bless. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.
I could have been stopped doing this shit. Only reason I do this shit cause the real niggas asked me to. A fake nigga couldn't relate to me. Top gunners, check me out. Only us, check me out. Strap her with a kilo, check me out. Put her on the bus, check me out. Stand up nigga, check me out. Always 100, check me out. You can bring the work back, check me out. If you don't want it, check me out. See mama love me, that's my baby. But papa left me, yeah he left me. I put a bitch on timeout if she upset me, that's a fact. Fuck with me, you won't regret me. Still on the mind of every hoe trying to forget me. I get them things across the border. Your man don't try, but you won't go get him a lawyer. What's up with that? You poppin' bottles, you getting fly, but you don't send commissary to niggas that's inside. See, we don't coincide, we don't live by the same rules. And we done got hungry, these lanes became full. Real niggas in my corner, you know that I can't lose. And I can't go to jail for a body they can't prove. Got niggas in the fence, they never coming home.